How do you pay for expenses? How do you claim those expenses, those weekly things if you're buying paper and pens and resources, and also paying for big purchases? Maybe you're paying for a camp, for food bill, or buying big bulky items such as tents or something. And that was a question I asked lots of Scout leaders around the world on last week's live stream of the Scout Leaders podcast. But before we dive into that, if you're wondering who I am, my name's Mark. I'm your online Scout leader, helping you become a better Scout leader. Right, let's find out about expenses. Should Scout leaders use their personal funds for expenses, or should the group provide a bank card, a prepaid bank card for such costs? It's a hot topic at the moment. I've seen lots of things on Facebook, and also kind of personally, not that I have a problem funding, but after a while, you kind of think it's a lot of cash. It starts building up, and then you realize they're actually in 100 or whatever. David's got in there 1,000%. The group should provide cash flowing. Lots of activities can be pricey. Absolutely. And what I'm talking about, well, it's different actually, and I think Max is on the same page as me, is that if you're kind of buying week after week a bit of paper and some pencils, you might have to buy a few things for that week's activity. If you're talking about kind of 15, maybe £20 or whatever, it starts building up. And like I say, we've got this camp coming up, and the food bill is going to be crazy. So do I have to do it? Then we've got to think about, if the leader's paying for it and they go in their overdraft and they're going to get a fee from the bank for going into the overdraft, who pays that back? Even though it's not the leader's fault that they've gone into debt, but someone's got to pay for the bill. So I thought, let's ask these questions, and I'm so glad. I have to go up like here. Lots of people commented, and kind of on the same bridge, same boat as me, kind of. Thomas is saying, never thought of a prepaid card. It's a great idea. Club groups use a personal and then they claim it back. We have a checkbook, but nobody uses them these days. Exactly. Especially online is practically unknown. Getting signatures off the card from a committee is problematic with bank, especially when the committee may change year after year. It's a pain. Derek saying, at the moment we use our personal funds, but I'm pushing for OSM prepaid card. Ian is saying no one should be out of pocket, but how is the question suggests? There are lots of ways to do it depending on the bank facilities, group users, and so on. Absolutely. Anyway, point is, overall methods should be flexible and appropriate, which usually means a combination of solutions. Our treasurer is brilliant, speeding in and paying out expenses, so we pay it out our personal funds and then claim it back. That's fine if you can get that money back quick enough, yeah? St. John's Wakefield leaders, I use my own funds and claim back via expenses form. It's getting very expensive now. I have 6 sessions in camps. Before there's, oh, wow. Our treasurer is amazing. It pays me back as soon as I submit. Absolutely. We are going through this at the moment. Our treasurer doesn't want to, but it's hard to do without. Absolutely. Zoe, we use the OSM cards. We have a term budget loaded. Then camp is coming up. So more transferred for food bill. Absolutely. With the OSM prepaid, well, with any prepaid card, kind of say the term you only allowed to spend £100 to buy your equipment or whatever. But if there's a camp coming up, or you need some tents or something like that, the person in charge, the treasurer, can up your amount on that card. So say you're going to go and buy 10 tents, and that's going to cost you £1,000 or whatever. £1,000 is a lot to anybody, so they can up that on the prepaid card, and then bring it back down once those tents have been bought or whatever. Dan, my GSL is trying to get the OSM prepaid card sorted, and hopefully rather sooner than later. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing in my group as well. So lots of people are saying they use OSM 1 per section. Our treasurer also funds the card for payments and events. Yep. Adrian, we use our own personal funds and then claim it back, but no more, as we have the OSM prepaid cards. Lovely. Laura, we just go to our GSL, currently treasurer, anything that we need ordered and sorted time for food for camps. We have a group Tesco account, the leader for camp. Orders the GSL treasurer improvement the payment. Okay, that's quite cool. Either work, people doing a bit of both. We have group funds. Any eBay or Amazon orders are linked to the group funds, but those go through one person, so we can keep a better check of it. Absolutely. Katie, just down the road here from me, they use a prepaid bank card. They shouldn't have to use their own money, even if they get paid back. And you're saying prepaid cards, as long as they're good person topping up, keeps on top of things. That's the thing. We've got to make sure we don't hit that kind of maximum that we're allowed to use, or whatever you guys decide. Alison, we've recently changed to the prepaid OSM cards. There are a lot. There are lots and lots of comments, and I really want to get Max back. If you are interested in this, I'm going to do a full vlog on this, but all these comments are over on my Big Man in the Woods Facebook page. So if you want to go through, and maybe if you want to add your comments and your thoughts, that will be absolutely brilliant. It's a regular thing that I've seen on some comments is that you go and get your expenses. So you go and buy those things, and then when you hand them into the treasurer or whatever, they say, actually, we're not going to pay for that. We didn't authorize you. And that's been kind of not a regular one, but I have seen it. People are kind of commenting saying, you assumed that you went to go and buy some paper or whatever, but actually the Cubs bought a pack of paper beforehand. You guys aren't talking, so we're not going to reimburse you that. And I think that's really bad. And I've seen that quite a few times on some of these comments. But thank you very much. Those comments are brilliant. And it seems that OSM is the kind of the way that people are going forward with the prepaid cards. Now Max is here. Are you settled?
Oh, I'm settled. It'd be interesting to see what the results of because they asked that question on the survey a few months back, didn't they? On the Scout survey, how much money are you out of pocket? It'd be interesting to see what the results are of that question across everyone.
What do you do in your group, Max?
So we moved to a good bank account that allows two people to sign off. So we put our expenses in, and then they get automatically, well, not automatically, somebody has to do it, but our treasurer can then approve, and somebody can countersign the transaction, and we get paid straight back into our bank account.
Well, that's good. That's all well and good though, Max. But I've got a camp coming up in 2 weeks. I reckon the food bill is going to be, I don't know, we're looking £300-400.
So we can do a card. We can, you can get an estimate. So we shop online, get delivery online, get an estimate of the cost, and then somebody can cover that, or you can get sort of a prepayment for the card. The sections, you can have a budget per year for each section, and then that's your kind of sundries and bits. So talking of paper or things like that.
Yep.
But if there's something in the office that needs adding, then we have a WhatsApp group and we say, I'm going to do this. Is anybody doing similar? So that we can at least get those things
delivery done. And P&P and stuff. Yeah. But what happens? I keep pointing here, but the camera can't see it. Last year we bought 1, 2, 3, 4. We bought about 12 brand new tents because ours was just old. I was getting fed up with fixing them. I was getting fed up kind of going, actually, we'll fix that in a few weeks' time. We didn't get around to it. I just thought, you know what, let's just throw away these tents that we're never going to get around to fix, honestly. Zips, whatever. So we purchased these. But thankfully, the Beaver leader was very kind enough to say, I'm very happy to put these on my credit card. But what happens if you don't have that leader? What happens if, you're in an area you just can't, there's no one there that can afford to pay it up front? That's what I'm trying to say.
So I would say go and have a word with people like Go Outdoors. Scouting has a relationship with certain vendors. So I would say go and have a word with them. Can we do something where, we place an order and then raise a check against it and get an invoice from them? I'm sure they'll do that you can then get your group to pay them and then do a collection.
Go Outdoors group sales will do invoices. Yeah, absolutely. Go Outdoors do that. And I know Cotswold do that as well. If you contact the head office, they will send you an invoice. And we were going to buy quite a lot of gear from them, and they did accept check because we went through a time last year where we couldn't get into a bank account. Long story. I don't want to discuss it on here, but we were locked out. And they did accept check. It took a bit longer because they needed to receive the check. They needed to bank the check.
that kind of thing. So it wasn't kind of like we ordered it, we got it within a few days. It did take a longer process, but these top brands, Go Outdoors, Cotswolds, Alpkit, if you phone them up and say, look, we're a scout troop, we're going to order 10 tents, it's going to cost £1,000, £2,000. How can we go about it? They will help you. So it's really, really cool.
Thank you very much, Scout Leaders, for your input and your answers on expenses. And it seems that prepaid cards is the way forward, whether you like it or whether you don't. Lots of groups are doing that, and my group was certainly nearly getting there. We're applying for those prepaid cards just to help leaders use finances in a better way, so they don't get into financial problems, or the wife gets upset when she's constantly seeing on the bank account, oh, scouts. So I think in general the essence is prepaid cards, but a bit like what Max was saying, for me as well, kind of the weekly buying some paper or pens, low cost items, should we say, kind of we fund from our own and then put that kind of statement, that those invoices at the end of the term, and get the money back. But for big purchases that have a lot of outgoings, it seems that prepaid cards is what the majority of scout leaders do. Let me know in the comments how you do your expenses. Hey, if you want to become a better scout leader, don't forget, watch this playlist here. There's some tips and tricks on becoming the best scout leader you can ever be.